Okay, insurance reimbursement. So I am on page 468 and 469 in the textbook here. So insurance reimbursement, what the pharmacy is actually getting paid for the medications that we send claims for. So to receive a reimbursement or to receive payment from the insurance company, we have to submit a claim for each prescription that we fill. Most of the claims that we send are going to be electronic, and we have the process of what we call adjudication. So the process of us sending a claim to the insurance company, and then that claim is verified by what we call a switch vendor, which basically compares the terms of the insurance company, what they will allow based on what we are submitting. And they're going to let us know almost instantaneously if that claim has been approved or rejected or denied. So even though that adjudication process is almost instantaneous and we can actually fill the prescription once it's approved by the insurance, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're getting paid that amount right away. Usually it takes between 30 to 60 days to actually get paid from the insurance company. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to talk about how we actually get paid for these claims that we send. So most medications, the claims that we send are based on the average wholesale price or the AWP of a medication. Now, the average wholesale price is just the average price that pharmacies across the region pay for a drug. It's not always the cost that our pharmacy has paid for that drug. A lot of times we get discounts from wholesalers, so most of the time the cost for our pharmacy is actually lower than the AWP. In some cases it can be higher. And so instead of basing every single claim on the cost that we paid for a prescription, it's easier for basically everyone, the pharmacies and the insurance companies, to just base those claims on the AWP or that average price that everyone is paying. So AWP is part of the claim. We also have what's called a markup or a markdown. So the insurance company can agree to pay for the AWP plus a percentage of the AWP, or the AWP minus a percentage of the AWP. And we'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Also, what's tacked on to the reimbursement rate is going to be a dispensing fee for the pharmacy itself. So when we were working on the compounding competition, we talked about overhead and how it costs money to run a business. So dispensing fees are just an additional fee for the pharmacy to take into consideration the cost for, labeling, vials, the time spent on actually filling the prescription. So the overall reimbursement equation that we end up here with is the average wholesale price that the medication costs, plus or minus a percent of that cost, plus the additional dispensing fee. Now, this is going to make more sense when we actually get into an example here. I am on page 470, practice problems G, just going to look at number 1 here. So remember our equation. Our reimbursement rate is going to be based on the AWP plus or minus, depending on the terms of the insurance company, a percentage of the AWP plus the dispensing fee. So here we have a prescription with an AWP of $25.60. The insurance percentage is plus 18% AWP. The professional dispensing fee is $3.50. Wants us to calculate the total reimbursement here. So let's start. We have the AWP, which is $25.60. And in this case, they're saying plus 18%. So we're going to take that plus 18% of the AWP, which is $25.60, plus our dispensing fee, which is $3.50. Now, if we think back to those key words in our problems, remember anytime we see of, that is an indicator to multiply. So we're going to take 18%, 2560 here. So remember, when you're multiplying by a percentage, we need to convert this into a decimal first. So we divide by 100 or move our decimal 2 places to the left. So 18% is 0.18. And we're going to take that times our 2560. That leaves me with $4.61. So here I have 461. Now I can plug that into the rest of my equation here. So I'm going to take 2560 plus 461 plus 350. That's going to give me my reimbursement rate. That's what I'm going to bill to the insurance company for this prescription, and that's what they're going to pay me for this prescription. So 2560 plus 461 plus 350 gives me 3371. So this is the amount that I'm going to get paid for this prescription. Now, they're asking, what is the profit? What profit did we make here? Well, the problem doesn't tell us that we paid a different cost other than the AWP. So we're going to assume that we paid the AWP for the prescription. So this is what it costs the pharmacy. This is what we're getting paid. So the profit is going to be the difference between what we're getting paid and what we actually paid for the prescription. So if we're getting paid $33.71, we only paid $25.60 for the prescription, we're going to make a profit. We'll just subtract those. We're going to make a profit of $8.11. Okay, we're going to go through this example in the slides. I'm going to write down some important information from this problem so we can kind of toggle back and forth. So here we have a pharmacy purchases 2,500 tablets at a wholesale price of $178. So that is what we bought the prescription for. The wholesale distributor allows a 7% discount on invoices paid within 10 days. Payment is made according to the discount. So we paid that invoice, we're going to get a 7% discount on that medication. Insurance reimbursement is AWP less 6%. So less means minus. So we have AWP minus 6% of AWP plus an $8 dispensing fee. The AWP for this medication is $234 for 2,500 tablets. So keep in mind, that's just the average wholesale price. That's not what we paid. Remember, we paid $178 for 2,500. So the AWP is, what was it, $234 for 2,500 tabs. A prescription is written for 60 tablets. So that is what we'll need a little bit later. All I've done is just jot down this important information here so we can kind of do this problem together. So now, number one, what is the discounted wholesale price of 2,500 tablets? So remember, we got a discount. We got a 7% discount because we paid that invoice within the 10 days. So the discounted wholesale price, we said that we were getting 2,500 for $178 with a 7% discount. So remember, we're going to take 7% off of the 178. So you can use my little shortcut where we're getting 7% off, but we're paying for 93% of the amount. Or we could first calculate the discount amount, which would be 7% of 178, and then subtract that. So I'll go ahead and do it the long way here so we can remember how to do that. So 7%, we got to change this into a decimal. Move your decimal 2 places to the left, leaves us with 0.07 of, or multiplied by, the 178. Leaves us with 1246. So we're going to get that off of the 178. So now I'm going to take that discount amount, subtract that from the 178. So I have 178 minus 1246 leaves me with $165.54. So that's my answer for number 1. That is how much I paid for those 2,500 tabs with that discount. So that was our wholesale discounted price there. Now, number 2, what is the cost of 60 tablets at the discounted wholesale price? Okay, so I want to know the cost of just 60. So what we can do here, we know that we paid $165.54 with the discount for 2,500 tablets. Now we're looking for the cost for 60 tablets. So what we can do is use a ratio and proportion. Let's start with what we know. We know that the 2,500 tablets cost $165.54. Now we want to know the cost of just 60 tablets, because that's what our prescription was written for. So we're solving for the cost of 60 tablets. So here we can cross multiply 165.54 times 60, leaves me with $9,932.40. Equal that to 2,500x. Then we will divide by 2,500. And I am left with $3.97. So that was the discounted cost that we paid for the 60 tablets. So we'll write that. That's we paid for the 60 tabs. That was with our discount. This here was what we paid for 2,500 tabs. Now it says, what is the AWP for 60 tablets? Okay, so the AWP is different than what we paid. Remember, the AWP was $234 for 2,500 tablets. They want the AWP for 60 tablets. So once again, we can use a ratio and proportion here to solve. So we know that the AWP was $234 for 2,500 tabs. We want the AWP for just 60. So we can use a ratio and proportion. 234 for 2,500. We're looking for the cost of, or the AWP of just 60 here. So 2,500x, we're going to take 234 times 60, gives me $14,040. Then we're going to divide by 2,500. And x gives me $5.62. So that was the AWP for 60 tablets. Now it says calculate the amount billed to insurance. So remember, this is based on the prescription that was written for 60 tablets. So the amount billed to insurance, remember our equation that they told us here. We're going to do 80 of the 60 tablets minus 6% of the AWP plus $8. Well, we just calculated our AWP of 60 tablets. So we know the AWP is 562. And we're going to subtract 6% of the AWP, which is 562, plus the $8 dispensing fee. So once again, break this down. 6%, we know that that is 0.06. So 0.06 times 562 leaves me with 34 cents. So we're going to take 562 minus 34 cents plus the $8 dispensing fee. So 562 minus 34 cents plus $8 leaves me with $13.28. So that is the reimbursement rate that we're going to get paid for the prescription. That's what we're going to bill to the insurance for that 60 tablets. So that is the reimbursement for 60 tabs. Now, calculate the profit or loss on the prescription with the insurance reimbursement. So let's look back to what we solved for. This is what we're getting paid. Now let's think back to what we actually paid for the 60 tablets. Remember, we had gotten that discount earlier. So we first calculated the discount for 2,500, and then we set that equal to the 60 tablets here. So we actually paid $397 for the 60 tablets. We're getting paid $13.28 here. So what is our profit? Our profit is going to be the difference between what we're getting paid and what we actually paid here. So $13.28 minus $397. We're going to make a profit of $9.31. So this is how pharmacies make money on prescriptions. You know, there's a difference between what we actually pay for the drug and what we get paid for the drug based on those reimbursement rates.